بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد، فهذا لقاؤنا الثاني في شرح الأصول الخمسة من أصول وضوابط التكفير للشيخ عبد اللطيف بن عبد الرحمن بن حسن بن محمد بن عبد الوهاب رحمه الله تعالى. قال: الأصل الثاني أن الإيمان أصل له شعب متعددة. تقريب هذا المعنى في الشجرة وفروعها وأغصانها. فالشجرة بمثابة أصل الإيمان، والفروع والأغصان بمثابة الشعب. هنالك من الفروع ما يكون قويا، منها ما يكون ضعيفا، منها ما يكون كبيرا، منها ما يكون صغيرا، وكذلك شعب الإيمان. لكن أصل الشجرة هو بمثابة أصل الإيمان، وفروعها بمثابة شعب الإيمان. قال: كل شعبة فيها تسمى إيمانا، فأعلاها شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله، وأدناها إماطة الأذى عن الطريق. وهذا ما ورد في الحديث المتفق على صحته من حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: الإيمان بضع وستون أو بضع وسبعون شعبة، أعلاها لا إله إلا الله، وأدناها إماطة الأذى عن الطريق، والحياء شعبة من الإيمان. فشهادة أن لا إله إلا الله هي أصل الإيمان، وما سوى ذلك شعب الإيمان أو من شعب الإيمان، وإن كانت متفاوتة. يعني إماطة الأذى عن الطريق مستحبة، لكن الحياء واجب. الرسول يقول: والحياء شعبة من الإيمان، هذه شعبة واجبة. فالآن عندنا لا إله إلا الله، وعندنا إماطة الأذى عن الطريق، وعندنا الحياء، كلها من الإيمان. لكن هل حكم إماطة الأذى عن الطريق كحكم الحياء؟ الجواب لا. إماطة الأذى عن الطريق مستحبة، والحياء واجب. هل الحياء كحكم الشهادتين؟ الجواب لا. فالحياء واجب والشهادتان ركن، بل هما أصل الإيمان. قال: فمنها ما يزول الإيمان بزواله إجماعا كشعبة الشهادة. بالإجماع لو زالت الشهادة فهذا يكون كافرا، يزول أصل الإيمان بزوال الشهادة. هذا بالإجماع، سواء إذا انتقضت الشهادة وجود الشروط المتوفرة بانتفاء الموانع، أو بعدم قولها. يعني إنسان لم يقل لا إله إلا الله، هل هو مسلم؟ هو مسلم. إنسان قال لا إله إلا الله لكنه نقضها بأن أشرك مع الله إلها غيره، وقيمت عليه الحجة، ووجدت الشروط وانتفى وانتفت الموانع، هذا أيضا لا تنفعه لا إله إلا الله إجماعا. قال: ومنها ما لا يزول بزواله إجماعا، كما أن هنالك من شعب الإيمان ما يزول الإيمان بزواله إجماعا كالشهادتين، أيضا العكس، هنالك من شعب الإيمان ما لا يزول بزواله إجماعا كترك إماطة الأذى عن الطريق. بل إماطة الأذى عن الطريق تنقص الإيمان من حيث الحسنات، وتركها لا يوجب إثما ولا يوجب فسقا، فضلا عن أن يوجب كفرا. وإنما ترك الشهادة لا شك ولا ريب بإجماع الأمة موجب بالكفر والخروج عن الإسلام.
the Sheikh, after mentioning the speech of the need, he said this is our second sitting in explaining the 5 foundational principles regarding takfeer by the Sheikh Abdul Latif bin Abdul Rahman bin Hassan bin Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab rahimahullah. And the Sheikh started by mentioning the text saying that al-Iman is a foundation or a root that has several branches, and each branch of these branches are called Iman. So the highest of these branches is the testimony that there is no true God except Allah, and the lowest, the highest of these branches is the testimony of faith, La ilaha illallah, and the lowest is removing harmful objects from the way. The Sheikh said that this is an example to make this meaning closer to or easier to understand, that Iman is like a tree, resembles a tree that has its roots and it has its branches. So some of the parts of the tree, some of the branches could be strong, some could be weak, some could be big, some could be small. So the root of the tree, this is the foundation of faith. This is the root of Iman. As for the branches of the tree, then these are the branches of faith, the branches of Iman. The text goes on to say, so amongst these branches of faith are those that Iman will vanish if it vanishes, or Iman will go away if it goes away, and this is by the unanimous agreement of the scholars. He said, like the branch of Ash-Shahadatain, the 2 testimonies of faith. The Sheikh said that he mentioned, first of all, he mentioned before that the hadith of Abu Hurairah, this example of the tree. It is based on a hadith that is agreed upon from the hadith of Abu Hurairah, agreed upon by Bukhari and Muslim, from the hadith of Abu Hurairah, which says what means that Iman is 70 or 60 some branches. The highest of them is the testimony of faith, saying La ilaha illallah, and the lowest of them is removing harmful objects from the way, and al-haya, modesty or shyness, is a branch of faith. Now the Sheikh said that the testimony of faith, this is the root, this is the foundation of faith, and the rest of the branches of faith, they are, or the rest of the branches of the tree are the branches of faith, and these branches of faith, they vary. So for instance, removing harmful objects from the way, this is a recommended act. This is a recommended act. While shyness or modesty, this is also another branch of faith, but this is a branch that is compulsory, a branch that is a must. So the Sheikh said, is the ruling of removing harmful objects from the way, which is a branch of faith, is its ruling the same as shyness or modesty? The answer is no. As we mentioned, that removing harmful objects from the way is only recommended, while al-haya, shyness, is a must. Then the Sheikh said, is the ruling of ash-shahadatain, the 2 testimonies of faith, is the ruling of ash-shahadatain the same as the ruling of shyness or modesty? The answer is no, because shyness or modesty is a must, as has been mentioned, but ash-shahadatain, they are the pillar of faith. Rather, they are the root of faith, or the foundation of faith. The Sheikh said that the 2 testimonies of faith, it is the unanimous agreement of the Muslim scholars that if they are not there, faith is not there. So there is no faith without the testimony of faith. And this is by the unanimous agreement of the scholars. So if someone did not say the Shahadatain, he doesn't have Iman at all. Now, if he made the statement, he testified these two testimonies of faith, but then he basically went against these testimonies, he basically annulled these testimonies by committing shirk. So he committed shirk, then the proof and evidence was established against this person, and the conditions are met, and there are there is nothing that will stop, there is nothing present that will stop or bar this person from becoming, from judging him to be outside of the fold of Islam, then he will be outside of the fold of Islam, and that is again by the unanimous agreement of the scholars. So someone who did not say them at all, he is outside of the fold of Islam. This is, the scholars agree on that. Someone who made the statement, but then he basically broke this testimony of faith, he did not live up to it by committing shirk, and then he was brought and the evidence is established, meaning that he was told that this is shirk, association of partners in worship with Allah, and the conditions are met, and there was nothing to, inshallah, the Sheikh will explain that. So there was nothing to prevent issuing the label of disbelief on him, then he will become a disbeliever by the unanimous agreement of the scholars. The Sheikh went on to say, Sheikh Abdul Latif, and so after mentioning that there are some of the branches of faith, Iman will vanish if they vanish. Iman is not there if they are not there, like the testimony of faith, the two testimonies of faith. Then he goes on to say, and amongst these branches of faith are branches which Iman does not vanish, does not go away if these branches are not there or if they vanish. And this is also by the unanimous agreement of the scholars, and this is the example of that is to leave removing harmful objects from the way. Not to remove harmful objects from the way. This is something that will make Iman deficient in terms of good deeds. You are lacking, if you don't remove harmful objects from the way, if you do not remove them, then this brings down Iman in terms of losing hasanat, losing good deeds. And this does not, if you do not remove the harmful object from the way, this does not necessitate that one has committed a wicked act, an act of fisq, let alone to be considered committing an act of disbelief. While if you consider abandoning the Shahadatain, the two testimonies of faith, then this is something that makes one outside of the fold of Islam.
الشروط وقيمة الحجة الشروط والموانع.
نحن عندما تكلمنا عن من قال لا إله إلا الله ثم نقضها وكان بنقضه لها خارجا من الإسلام، قلنا لابد من إقامة الحجة بوجود الشروط وانتفاء الموانع. أما إقامة الحجة فلا يقيمها إلا العلماء الراسخون في العلم أو من يزكونهم ويريدونهم من طلبة العلم الأقوياء، حتى يكون هنالك تمييز وحكم صحيح على هذا الإنسان أنه كافر أو غير كافر، أنه مسلم أو غير مسلم. أما الشروط فهي العلم والاختيار والقصد، العلم العلم والاختيار والقصد، وعكسها الموانع. فإذا وجد الشرط انتفى المانع، إذا وجد العلم انتفى الجهل، إذا وجد الاختيار انتفى الإكراه، إذا وجد القصد انتفى الذهول مثلا أو عدم القصد وعدم الانتباه. أحيانا قد يفعل الإنسان كلمة لا يقصد بها معناها، كمثل ذلك الرجل الذي قال اللهم أنت عبدي وأنا ربك، هذه كلمة كفرية لكنه قالها من غير قصد، قالها ذاهلا، قالها مندهشا. كذلك لو كان مكرها، ربنا في القرآن يقول لا إكراه في الدين. كذلك العلم كما قال الله لينذركم به ومن بلغ، فلا بد حتى يكون الكافر كافرا إذا كان مسلما وفعل فعلا كفريا لابد أن يكون على علم بالشيء وعلى اختيار له وعلى قصد له أيضا. وانتفاء هذه الشروط هو وجود الموانع. الله تعالى أعلم.
The Sheikh said when we spoke about the one who made the testimony of faith, who professed or who pronounced the testimony of faith, but then he broke this testimony or went against this testimony, we said he would be outside of the fold of Islam. We said that for this to happen, for him to be outside of the fold of Islam, he is Muslim and then he committed shirk, so he is outside of the fold of Islam. This judgment that he is outside of the fold of Islam should not be issued until after the proof and evidence is established against this person. Said we mentioned that iqamat al-hujjah, the proof and evidence is established against this person. The Sheikh said no one is to establish this, or no one is qualified to establish this evidence against this person except the scholars, or the students, the strong students of knowledge who are praised or given credit by the scholars that they are qualified to do this job, so that there will be a correct distinction between the disbeliever and the believer. Then he said for this judgment to be issued against this person, that he nullified and annulled his testimony of faith, there has to be conditions. Conditions have to be met. And those conditions are the knowledge and the choice and the intent. So the person who says the testimony of faith, in order to judge him to be outside of the fold of Islam by something that he says or that he does, the Sheikh says conditions have to be met, meaning that he has to be knowledgeable of the thing that he is doing, that it takes him outside of the fold of Islam, and he has to have the choice. So he knows about it and he chose to do it, and then also the intent, he intended to do it. The opposite of three things, the opposite of these three things, knowledge, the opposite of that is ignorance, and the choice, the opposite of that is coercion or being forced, and intent or intention, the opposite of that is for one to be unaware or by mistake he did not really intend to do what he did or to say what he said. So when we say conditions have to be there, and things or mawani' they should not be there in order for the judgment to be issued. This is what we mean by conditions and their opposites. The first condition is knowledge, that this person has to know what he is doing, and the opposite of that is ignorance. this person has to choose to do what he did, meaning he is not forced, and also he has to intend to do or to say this word or act of disbelief, and the opposite of that is him being unaware or not doing it unintentionally or not being aware of what he's doing. For instance, a person might say a word that he does not intend, like the Sheikh mentioned the hadith of the man who was so happy to find his camel after he lost it, and he said, "Oh my Lord, oh Allah, you are my servant and I am your Lord." He said this word by mistake. Out of him being so happy, he made a mistake in this statement. He said, "Oh Allah, you are my servant and I am your Lord." So this statement that he made is a statement of kufr, but then of disbelief, but this person did not really intend to say that. And likewise, the other issues like being forced or coerced, and the knowledge has to be there. This person should not be an ignorant person. He mentioned the statement of Allah, which says what means, so that I will warn you with it and the one whom it reaches, that is to warn you with the Quran, and also the one whom it reaches, the Quran. If it reaches someone, then he has been warned. So if this person was a Muslim and he did an action of disbelief, then in order to issue a judgment that he is outside of the fold of Islam, he has to be knowledgeable of the thing he's doing, he has to have the choice to do it, and he has to have intended to do that act of disbelief in order for a judgment to be issued against him that he is outside of the fold of Islam.
قال المؤلف رحمه الله: وبين هاتين الشعبتين شعب متفاوتة. والمقصود بهاتين الشعبتين الشعبة الأعلى والشعبة الأدنى. الشعبة الأعلى لا إله إلا الله، والشعبة الأدنى إماطة الأذى عن الطريق. ولا يخفى فعلا أن بين هاتين الشعبتين أكثر من 70 أو 60 شعبة، وهي التي أشار إليها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: الإيمان 67 أو 70 شعبة. فوجود الأعلى مع وجود الأدنى دليل على أن ما بينهما شعب كثيرة ومتفاوتة. قال: منها ما يلحق شعب الإيمان بشعبة الشهادة، يعني منها ما يكون كبيرا وعظيما كمثلا الصلاة والصيام والزكاة والحج، كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: بني الإسلام على 5: شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله، وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وصوم رمضان وحج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا. فذكرت هذه الأركان الأربعة مع ركن الشهادة لأنها تلحق به ويكون إليها أقرب. تكون هذه إلى الشعب الأعلى أقرب وأدنى. ومنها ما يلحق أو ما يلحق بشعبة إماطة الأذى عن الطريق. أيضا منها ما يكون في الدرجات الدنيا. مثلا لو قلنا المصافحة ليست ركنا ولا واجبا وهي مستحبة، وإماطة الأذى عن الطريق مستحبة، فمثلا المصافحة تلحق بإماطة الأذى عن الطريق لأنها أدنى الدرجات. كذلك الشرب ثلاثا سنة مستحبة ليس واجبا، أيضا يلحق بإماطة الأذى عن الطريق. أم هل نقول بأن المصافحة تلحق بالشهادتين؟ لا تلحق بالشهادتين، لأن الشهادتين تلحق بها الصفات أو الشعب العظيمة والجليلة، بينما الشعب التي هي مستحبات أو في أحكام المستحبات تلحق بإماطة الأذى عن الطريق. قال: ويكون إليها أقرب لأنه بنفس الحكم وآخذ الحكم نفسه. قال: والتسوية بين هذه الشعب في اجتماعها مخالف للنصوص وما كان عليه سلف الأمة وأمتها. يعني الآن عندما نقول الإيمان 67 شعبة، هذه شعب الإيمان كلها مجتمعة، هل هي بمفرداتها متساوية الحكم؟ هذا غير صحيح. كلها إيمان وتركها نقص في الإيمان. لكن هل ترك الشهادتين كترك مثلا الحياء، كترك إماطة الأذى عن الطريق؟ الجواب لا. إذن أن نسوي بين هذه الشعب في اجتماعها باعتبارها بضع وستين شعبة أو 70 شعبة، هذا مخالف للنصوص وما كان عليه سلف الأمة وأمتها، باعتبار أن كل شعبة لها حكم قد يكون أكثر أو أقل من الحكم الآخر، ولا تسوى جميعها وإن سميت شعبا بحكم واحد وأن يقال إن حكمها واحد.
Sheikh Abdul Latif, he said, and between these two branches there are various or varied branches that are varied in degrees and levels. Between these two branches, meaning the branch La ilaha illallah, the testimony of faith, and the removal of harmful objects from the way. Between these two branches, one of them is the highest and the other one is the lowest. Between these two branches, there are branches of faith that are varied in degrees, that vary in degrees and levels. Amongst these branches are those branches which are put closer to the category of ash-shahada, the testimony of faith. And those branches would be closer to the branch of ash-shahadatain. And amongst the branches of faith are those branches that will be closer to the branch of removing harmful objects from the way. It will be like it and closer to it. The Sheikh said that, again, the hadith about the branches of faith, that the highest is La ilaha illallah, the lowest is the removal of harmful objects from the way, that faith is 70 some or 76 branches. So you have a highest and you have a lowest, and this is a proof that what is in between of these branches, what is in between the highest and the lowest, there are many varied branches. So some of these branches of faith, they will be closer, they will be categorized, or they will be put in the closer to the level of ash-shahadatain. The Sheikh said, like for instance, as-salah and as-siyam and zakah and hajj, the pillars of al-Islam. And then he mentioned the hadith that Islam is built upon five pillars. And he mentioned the 5 pillars of Islam, shahadatain and as-salah and az-zakah and sawm and hajj. So these branches of faith, the Sheikh said, those 4 pillars other than shahadatain, they are mentioned in this hadith along with ash-shahadatain. They are mentioned along with ash-shahadatain, and therefore we put them in the same category. They are very close to ash-shahadatain. On the other hand, the removal of harmful objects from the way, this is now from as mentioned in the hadith, this is the lowest of faith. So now there are branches of faith that can be categorized to be closer to this lowest branch of faith. For instance, the Sheikh said, I'll give an example, handshaking. This is not a pillar and this is not a must. This is something that is recommended. So then we will put or categorize the handshake we put it closer to the removal of harmful objects from the way. For instance, when you drink in three, not just once, but you drink in three times, basically. You drink, you put away the cup from you, and then you drink again, and then you breathe three times in between. This is a sunnah, right? He said this is a recommended sunnah, and therefore we will put it closer also to the branch of removing harmful objects from the way. The Sheikh inquired, should we say that handshaking, we should put it and categorize it closer to ash-shahadatayn? The answer is no. The things that are recommended, the branches of faith that are recommended, we will put them closer and we will categorize them closer to removing harmful objects from the way. That is because they are closer to that branch. Then the Sheikh Abdul Latif goes on to say, he said that the branches are varied in degrees. Amongst them are those that are categorized closer to ash-shahada, and amongst them are categorized closer to removing harmful objects from the way. Then he said, and to make those branches of faith, to make all of them equal to one another, this is something that goes against the texts and what the Salaf, what the pious predecessors of this ummah used to be upon, and what the imams of this ummah used to be upon. So here the Sheikh said that those 70-some or 60-some branches, all of them are called Iman. Each and every branch is called Iman. And to leave any of these branches, this is now Iman being deficient. This is Iman being deficient. But then, is leaving ash-shahadatayn equal to removing harmful objects from the way? The answer is no. Although all of them are branches of faith, but the ruling is not the same. So to make the ruling equal, that if you leave shahadatayn, exactly like if you leave removing harmful objects from the way, to make them equal to one another in rulings, this goes against the texts from the Quran and the Sunnah. That is because each branch, it has a ruling, even though each and every branch is called a branch of faith, but then they have different rulings. When you leave one of them, it's not like you leave the other one.
قال وكذلك الكفر أيضا ذو أصل وشعب، فكما أن شعب الإيمان إيمان فشعب الكفر كفر. كما ذكرنا أن الشهادة هي الأصل، وما بعدها من أركان وواجبات ومستحبات هي الفروع. كذلك نقول في الكفر، فنقض الشهادة هو الكفر أو عدم الاتيان بها هو الكفر. ثم هنالك أشياء أخرى وأعمال أخرى. فالإنسان الذي يقول الشهادة لكنه مثلا فعل معصية كمعصية الزنا أو السرقة أو الخمر، هل هذا تنتقد شهادته؟ الجواب لا. لكن لو أنه لم يزني ولم يسرق ولم يشرب الخمر، لكنه لم يكن يقول لا إله إلا الله، أو كان يستغيث بغير الله وقد أقيمت عليه حجة بوجود الشروط وانتفاء الموانع، ماذا تغني عنه لا إله إلا الله؟ لا تغني عنه شيئا. إذن كما أن شعب الإيمان إيمان فشعب الكفر كفر، والمعاصي كلها من شعب الكفر. وإن سميت شعب الكفر كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام سباب المسلم فسوق وقتاله كفر، وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام من أتى عرافا فصدقه فقد كفر بما أنزل على محمد، وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام ثنتان بأمتي هما بها كفر الطعن في الأنساب والنياحة على الأموات. هذه معاصي بعضها كبائر وسميت كفرا، لكن هل هي الكفر الأكبر؟ هل هي أصل الكفر أم هي من شعب الكفر؟ لا شك أنها من شعب الكفر وليست من أصل الكفر. قال ولا يسوى بينها في الأسماء والأحكام. هل تارك أصل الإيمان كتارك فرع من فروع الإيمان؟ هل الناقض لأصل الإيمان كالناقض لفرع من فروع الإيمان؟ هل الذي يأتي بشعبة من شعب الكفر كالذي يأتي بأصل الكفر؟ الجواب لا. إذن ما معنى كلمة الأسماء والأحكام؟ هذه كلمة يرددها الشيخ الإسلام تيمية كثيرا، بل قال إن أول خلاف في الأمة نشأ في مسألة الأسماء والأحكام. الأسماء هي أسماء الناس من حيث أفعالهم، نقول مسلم، نقول مؤمن، نقول كافر، نقول فاسق، نقول منافق. هذه الأسماء. الأحكام المسلم والمؤمن مصيرهم الجنة وإن كان المؤمن أعلى درجة، والفاسق هو متوعد بالنار، والكافر من أهل جهنم الخالدين فيها أبدا، والمنافق في الدرك الأسفل من النار. إذن الأسماء هي الأسماء المتعلقة بأفعال العباد من فسق أو كفر أو نفاق أو إسلام أو إيمان. والأحكام هي أحكام كل من هذه الأسماء الخمسة. هذا ما يسمى بالأسماء والأحكام. لذلك قال وفرق بين من ترك الصلاة أو الزكاة أو الصيام أو أشرك بالله أو استعان بالمصحف، وبين من سرق أو زنى أو انتهب أو صدر منه نوع موالاة كما جرى لحاطب. ترك الصلاة الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام سماه كفرا، وإن كانت مسألة خلافية بين أهل العلم. بعض أهل العلم يقول ترك الصلاة كفر أكبر، وبعضهم يقول ترك الصلاة كفر أصغر، لكن كلا الطرفين متفق على أن الشرع سماها كفرا، ثم اختلفوا في تحديد نوع الكفر. أو الزكاة والصيام باتفاق أهل العلم أن ترك الصلاة وترك الصيام من الكبائر، لكن هل أن ترك الصيام والزكاة من الكبائر، لكن هل ترك الصيام والزكاة كترك الصلاة؟ هل ترك الصيام والزكاة كترك الشهادتين؟ الجواب لا. قال أو أشرك بالله. هل المشرك بالله الذي يستغيث بغير الله ويطلب المدد من الله وقد أقيمت عليه الحجة وانتفت الموانع ووجد الشروط كمثل من ترك الزكاة؟ الجواب لا. أو استعان بالمصحف، إنسان يعرف أن هذا مصحف ثم يلقيه مستهينا به أو لا يقيم له وزنا أو لا يرفع له رأسا، هذا كفر أكبر. بل ابن القيم رحمه الله يسمي الاستهانة بالمصحف وسب الله أو رسوله أو قتل النبي يسميها كفرا مضادا للإيمان من كل وجه، لأنه ليس فيه أي مصلحة. يعني الإنسان الذي يسرق عنده شهوة حب المال، الذي يفطر في رمضان عنده شهوة الطعام، لكن الذي يسب الله ورسوله بأي شهوة وبأي دافع؟ الذي يستهين بالمصحف بأي شهوة وبأي دافع؟ الذي يقتل النبي يعرف أن هذا نبي ثم يقتله بأي شهوة بأي دافع؟ لذلك سميت الكفر المضاد للإيمان من كل وجه. قال أو انتهب، يعني النهبة هي السرقة التي يكون صاحبها مؤتمنا عليها، هذا اسمها نهبة أو اختلاس. بينما السرقة لابد أن تكون في حرز ثم يسرقها السارق. قال أو صدر منه نوع موالاه كما جرى لحاطب. حاطب بن أبي بلتعة رضي الله عنه من الصحابة البدريين، كان له بعد الهجرة أهال في مكة، فأرسل إليهم ببعض أخبار الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام، يعني كنوع من الجاسوسية ونوع من إفشاء الأسرار. فلما قبض عليه، والنبي عليه الصلاة والسلام أرسل عليا ومعه بعض الصحابة ليلقوا القبض عليه، لما ألقى القبض عليه قال عمر يا رسول الله دعني أضرب عنق هذا المنافق. قال دعه لعل الله اطلع على أهل بدر فغفر لهم. قال افعلوا ما شئتم فإني قد غفرت لكم. فقال حاطب والله يا رسول الله لم أفعل ذلك ردة ولا كفرا، وإنما كان لي أهل وكان لي كذا فذكر أن القضية متعلقة بمصالح وليست متعلقة بردة أو كفر. هذا حصل منه نوع موالاه. لذلك نزل في حاطب بن أبي بلتعة قول الله تبارك وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم أولياء. هذا فيه النهي. أولياء هذه الموالاة. إذا تذكرون في الدرس الماضي أشرنا إلى الفرق بين الموالاة والتولي. الموالاة هي نوع من أنواع الولاء للكفار لمصالح دنيوية، هذا يسمى ولاء. أما التولي فهو كما قال الله تعالى ومن يتولهم منكم فإنه منهم، فهو اتخاذ الكفار لكفرهم، هذا كفر أكبر لا شك ولا ريب. أما اتخاذ الكفار أولياء لمصلحة ذاتية، لمصلحة شخصية، لهوى، لمال، لدنيا، لشيء من هذه الأشياء أو أشباهها، هذا لا يعد كفرا ولا يعد خروجا من الملة. فإذا كان اتخاذهم نصرة لدينهم الباطل أو نقضا لدين الإسلام الحق فهذا هو التولي. وهذا الفرق ما بين الموالاة والتولي، والله تعالى أعلم.
Sheikh Abdul Latif alayhi rahmatullah, he said, and likewise this belief also, it has a foundation or a root and it has branches. Exactly like the Iman has branches and all of the branches of Iman, they are called Iman. The branches of this belief, they are also called disbelief. And all sins or disobediences, all of them are from the branches of disbelief. Exactly like obediences, all of them are part of the branches of faith. And we do not make equal between them in terms of names and their rulings, or titles and their rulings. Inshallah, the explanation will come for that. He said, and there is a difference between the one who left as-salah or as-zakah or as-siyam or associated partners in worship with Allah, or he treated the mushaf, the book of Allah, he treated the book of Allah with despise. There is a difference between those who did that and between those who steal or commit adultery or does not fulfill the trust. He is entrusted with something and he takes it and he does not give it back. Or the one who fell into some sort of alliance with the disbelievers, like what happened to Hatib. So the one who made equal between the branches of faith in terms of titles and their rulings, or made equal, made all of them equal, that is, between the different branches of faith in this regard, then he has gone against the book and the Sunnah. He is outside of the way of the path of the predecessors of this nation, and he is included in the general or in the generality of the people of innovations and desires. So now this is the whole text. Go back to the beginning. He says, likewise disbelief also, it has a foundation or a root, and it has branches. Like the Iman has branches, so likewise as the branches of Iman are called Iman, so the branches of disbelief are called disbelief. The Sheikh said that we said before that the Shahada, the testimony of faith, is the root, and the other branch, the other parts of faith, they are branches of faith, whether they are pillars or recommended acts or recommended acts. So the same thing. Likewise, disbelief is the same way. So for one not to testify the testimony of faith, or to annul it, basically to break it or to annul it, this is the disbelief. This is disbelief, kufr. Then there are other actions. So the one who testifies the testimony of faith, then he commits a disobedience, like committing adultery, or like drinking khamr or intoxicants, or the one who steals. Would his iman be annulled by this disobedience? The answer is no. As for the one who did not testify the testimony of faith at all, or he testified the testimony of faith, but then he invalidated it, he annulled it by committing something that is shirk, then the evidence was established upon him. The evidence was established upon him, the conditions are met, and there is nothing present to stop us from issuing the label of disbelief on him, then these people, the testimony of faith will not benefit them, So the disobediences, the Sheikh said, the disobediences, all of them are from the branches of disbelief. Then he mentioned different ahadith regarding that. Like for instance the hadith which says what means swearing at a Muslim, insulting a Muslim is wickedness, and fighting with a Muslim is disbelief. Another hadith says what means the one who goes to a fortune teller, then he has disbelieved in that which was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The hadith that says there are two actions that my ummah will continue to do, or two actions that my ummah will do, and these two actions are actions of kufr in my nation or in my ummah. They are attacking the person in terms of his lineage, and wailing, and wailing. These two actions, Rasulullah ﷺ called them to be actions of disbelief. The Sheikh said that all of these that are mentioned in the ahadith, these disobediences, insulting a Muslim, fighting him, going to a fortune teller, or insulting or attacking someone regarding his lineage, or wailing, all of these are disobediences. And all the disobediences, as it was mentioned, all of the disobediences are branches of disbelief. So these sins now that are mentioned in these ahadith, are they from the root of disbelief? Or or are they from the branches of the disbelief? The root of disbelief is annulling the shahadatain or not saying the shahadatain at all, right? So these sins, are they from this foundation, this root of disbelief, or are they from the branches of disbelief? There is no doubt that they are only from the branches of disbelief. They are from the branches of disbelief. Now, the one who leaves the root, is he like the one who left the branch? The answer is no. Now, the Sheikh mentions that we cannot equalize between those different disobediences. We cannot make them equal in terms of titles and rulings, asma and ahkam. The Sheikh said that Sheikh al Ibn Taymiyyah, he always emphasizes or always mentions this issue, the rulings, the titles or names, and what results because of them of the rulings. Right? And Sheikh al Ibn Taymiyyah, he mentioned, rahimahullah, that this is the first disagreement, the first ikhtilaf that happened between the ummah. It is between the Muslim ummah. It is regarding titles and the rulings of these titles, or what results because of these titles of rulings. So the titles that are meant here are the titles that basically are given to people because of what they do, because of the actions that they do. Al-Asma are the titles that are given to individuals because of the actions that they commit. So the titles like Muslim, like Mu'min, Muslim, one who submits, Mu'min, a believer, then Fasiq, a wicked person, Kafir, a disbeliever, and Munafiq, a hypocrite. These are the titles or names that are given to people because of actions that they do. A Muslim, one who submits, Mu'min, a believer, Fasiq, a wicked, disbeliever, Kafir, or Munafiq, hypocrite. Now the rulings that pertain to each name of this name or each title of these titles, each title will have a ruling. So the Muslim, the one who submits, and the believer, their ruling is that they will end up being in paradise, Al-Jannah. They will end up being in paradise. Even though that the mu'min, the believer, now, is in a higher place in paradise than the Muslim. Right? Because the mu'min has a higher level, so he is in a higher level in paradise. The fasiq, the one who is wicked, the one who commits sins and disobediences, he is warned that he will be punished in the fire. That he will be punished in the fire. He is warned. There is a warning that he will be punished for the sins that he commits. As for the disbeliever, kafir, then he is in the fire. In the next life he is in the fire. As for the munafiq, the hypocrite, then he is in the lowest level of the fire. The lowest level of the fire. So these are the titles and the rulings that pertain to them in the next life. So those who commit different problem or different disobediences from the branches of disbelief, we cannot make them equal in terms of titles and rulings. Titles that are given to them because of their actions in this life, and the rulings that will happen to the rulings of things that will happen to them in the next life. The Sheikh goes on to mention like what happened to Hatib, like what happened to Hatib. the Sheikh said, commenting on this text, there is a difference. It says here, let me read it again, they should not be made equal in titles and their rulings, and there is a difference between him who left as-salah or as-zakah or fasting or committed shirk or belittled the book of Allah, and there is a difference between all of this and between the one who, the person who stole or committed adultery, or the one who did not fulfill the trust, or something or some sort of alliance happened from him towards the disbelievers, like what happened to Hatib. The Sheikh said, commenting on this, that leaving as-salah, abandoning as-salah, the Prophet ﷺ titled it or gave it the title of disbelief. Abandoning salah is disbelief. And this is a matter of difference between the scholars as to what type of disbelief abandoning salah is. Is it a major type of disbelief or a minor type of disbelief? But then all of the scholars, they agree that in the Sharia, the Islamic Sharia, the Islamic law gives abandoning salah the title of kufr, disbelief. Although they differ whether it is major disbelief, which takes one outside of the fold of Islam, or minor disbelief, which is a big sin, but then still the person is still within the fold of Islam. Leaving as-salah and as-zakah is from the major sins. If one abandons salah, if one abandons fasting and zakah, is he like the one who left as-salah? The answer is no. And the one who left these, is he like the one who left ash-shahadatayn completely? The answer is no. So we cannot make those things equal. The one who associates partners in worship with Allah, he is not like the others who committed those other sins that were mentioned. The Sheikh mentions committing shirk by Allah or belittled the Mus'haf. The Sheikh mentions that belittling the Mus'haf and killing a messenger,
استهانة بالمصحف وقتل الرسول
the Sheikh mentions that Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim alayhi rahmatullah, he mentions that belittling the book of Allah and insulting or swearing at the messenger or killing a messenger, these three actions, they are major disbelief. They take one outside of the fold of Al-Islam. Ibn al-Qayyim, he says about these three actions that they are disbelief that goes against, that negates Iman from every angle. Those three matters. Belittling the book of Allah and insulting the messenger or swearing, belittling the messenger, or killing a messenger. These three things, Ibn al-Qayyim says about them that they go against Iman from every aspect or in every aspect. Why? He said, the Sheikh said, because there is no benefit at all in doing any of these three things. For instance, to make it easier to understand, the one who steals, he has the love of money, so he steals. He receives some benefit by stealing. The one who breaks the fast, he has this desire, this lust of eating and drinking, so he does something that matches his desire. But then the one who belittles the book of Allah, what kind of benefit does he get? And likewise, the one who insults the messenger or the one who kills even a messenger, this one has no benefit in this whatsoever. That's why it is a major disbelief. So there is a difference between the one who commits shirk or belittles the mushaf and between the one who steals or commits adultery or intahab. The Sheikh says here al-nuhba is basically the difference between sariqah and nuhba, between stealing and nuhba here is like snatching, right? This is when someone is entrusted with something and then he takes away from it. He snatches some money or takes away some of it. This is called nuhba. This is the difference between sariqah, stealing, and nuhba. When you do not fulfill the trust and take away some of what you were entrusted with. So there is a difference between those sins which are called branches of kufr and the other ones like shirk and like belittling the book of Allah and insulting the messenger and killing a messenger. Now regarding Hatib radiallahu anhu, the Sheikh mentioned him here, or between the one who has committed some sort of alliance like what happened to Hatib. The Sheikh said that Hatib radiallahu anhu, he was in Medina with the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he had family in Mecca. He had family in Mecca. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to go to Mecca for the conquest of Mecca, Hatib radiallahu anhu sent some information. He sent a messenger with some information about what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was going to do. So, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew, and he sent some of the companions to capture, to seize Hatib and to bring him. And they did. So when he was brought, and it appeared that he did send a letter telling them some information. This is like a form of spying, the Sheikh said. It's like a form of spying. So Umar radiallahu anhu said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let me kill this hypocrite, or let me chop off the neck of this hypocrite. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, no, what would make you know? Maybe Allah has looked into the hearts of the people of Badr, the people who attended the battle of Badr, and he said, do what you want, I have forgiven you. So Hatib radiallahu anhu, even he said that I did not do this out of apostation or out of disbelief, out of committing disbelief. But I have family in Mecca. I have family in Mecca. So he wanted to do something to benefit his family members who are in Mecca, so that they will not be harmed. So he had some sort of benefit from that, and he fell into some sort of alliance with the disbelievers. Some alliance with the disbelievers. And regarding him, the Quran came down and it says, O you who believe, do not take my enemy and your enemy as allies. As allies. Now here, Sheikh Abdul Latif mentioned that he fell into some sort of muwalah, this word muwalah, some sort of alliance. And he said that, we told you before that we're going to explain the difference between two words, muwalah and tawalli. As for the muwalah, taking the disbelievers as allies, then this is falling into some sort of alliance with the disbelievers for some worldly benefit, for some worldly interests, worldly benefits. As for the other word, which is tawalli, which means also taking disbelievers as allies. But then this second word, tawalli, this is taken from the Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and the one who takes them amongst you as allies, then he is one of them. The one who takes them, that is the disbelievers, يَتَوَلَّهُمْ, يتولهم. This is the word tawalli. The one who takes them amongst you as allies, that is the disbelievers, then who is one of them? Right? So this one, the Sheikh said, tawalli, this is now is major disbelief. And that is to take the disbelievers as allies because of their disbelief. Meaning to support and to like or to support or to be with them in their disbelief. But for the one who takes them as allies for a personal benefit, for money or desires, this is not major disbelief. But if he took them as allies supporting their false religion, then this is major disbelief. This is the difference between these two words, the word muwalah and the word tawalli. So the word muwalah is someone who takes the disbelievers as allies. He falls into some sort of alliance with them for some sort of a worldly benefit. This is not disbelief that takes one outside of the fold of Islam. But the word tawalli, it means to take them as allies supporting their false religion, and this takes one outside of the fold of Islam.
قال فمن سوى بين شعب الإيمان في الأسماء والأحكام أو سوى بين شعب الكفر في ذلك أي في الأسماء والأحكام فهو مخالف للكتاب والسنة، خارج عن سبيل سلف الأمة، داخل في عموم أهل البدع والأهواء. وأهل البدع والأهواء في موضوع الإيمان هم ثلاثة أصناف: المعتزلة والخوارج والمرجئة، وكل ذهب إلى ضلالة من الضلالات، نسأل الله أن ينزهنا وإياكم منها ونبعدنا وإياكم عنها. فالتسوية في الأسماء والأحكام بين شعب الإيمان خطأ، لأن كل اسم له حكم. فالآن عندما نقول عندما نذكر الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام في حديث جبريل في الصحيحين ذكر الإسلام وذكر الإيمان وذكر الإحسان، إذن عندنا محسن وعندنا مؤمن وعندنا مسلم، فكل محسن مؤمن وكل محسن أيضا من باب أولى مسلم. لكن هل كل مؤمن محسن؟ هل كل مسلم محسن؟ إذن ليس كل مسلم مؤمنا ولا محسنا. لماذا؟ لأن كل اسم له حكم، كل اسم من هذه الأسماء الثلاثة له حكم. وكذلك في الكفار أو في شعب الكفر، وقد ذكرنا أن المعاصي تعتبر من شعب الكفر، وإن كان الكفر الأكبر لا يطلق إلا على أصل الكفر وهو ترك الشهادة أو نقضها. فالآن نقول كل كافر فاسق، لكن هل كل فاسق كافر؟ ليس كل فاسق كافر، وإنما كل كافر فاسق. نقول كل منافق كافر، لكن هل كل منافق كل منافق كافر، لكن هل كل كافر منافق؟ الجواب لا. ما الفرق بين الكافر والمنافق؟ الكافر يظهر الكفر وبالتالي يبطله، بينما المنافق يظهر الإسلام ولكن حقيقته كفر أكبر والعياذ بالله. لذلك كان المنافقون بنص القرآن الكريم في الدرك الأسفل من النار، فهم أشد من الكفار كفرا وردة والعياذ بالله تعالى. وفي هذا القدر كفاية، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Sheikh Abdul Latif continues to say, so the one who equalizes between the branches of faith in terms of titles and rulings, or the one who equalizes, yani makes equal between the branches of disbelief in this regard, then he is going against the book and the Sunnah, and he is going out of the way of the predecessors of this ummah, and he is included within the generality of the people of desires and innovation. The Sheikh said that the people of innovation, bid'ah and ahwa, desires, in the topic of al-iman, the topic of iman, faith, there are three categories. They are the group of al-mu'tazila, and second group al-khawarij, the third group al-murji'ah. All of these three groups, they are innovators in terms of the topic of iman. All of them, they fell into misguidances. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save us and you from them. So the Sheikh said that to make those different branches of faith equal in terms of titles and their rulings is a mistake, and this mistake leads to a lot of problems. The Sheikh said, for instance, Hadith Jibreel, famous Hadith Jibreel, it mentions al-Islam and al-Iman and al-Ihsan, and therefore you have three titles: Muslim, Mu'min, and Muhsin. The highest is Muhsin. Before that or under that is Mu'min, and the lowest is Muslim. So every Muhsin is Mu'min. Every Muhsin is Mu'min. And every Mu'min is Muslim. Every Mu'min is Muslim. But then, would you say that every Muslim is a Mu'min? The answer is no. Is every mu'min a muhsin? The answer is no. Each one of them has its ruling. Each one of them has its ruling. Likewise, the major disbelief, this major disbelief is a term that is used for the one who left the shahadatain, who did not testify the testimony of faith, or the one who invalidated, the one who said them but then he invalidated them. So you have a kafir and you have a fasiq. You have the kafir, the disbeliever, and you have the fasiq, the wicked. Now, is every wicked a disbeliever? The answer is no. You have the other term which is munafiq, hypocrite, and you have kafir. Is every hypocrite a disbeliever? Is every hypocrite a disbeliever? The answer is yes, every hypocrite is a disbeliever, right? Now, what about the disbeliever? Is every disbeliever a hypocrite? The answer is no. What is the difference between the two? The Sheikh said that the disbeliever, he outwardly professes that he is a disbeliever. He openly declares disbelief. As for the hypocrite, he declares or shows that he is a believer, while within himself, inside, inwardly, he is actually disbelieves. He does not believe, but he shows that he is a believer. So this is why the hypocrite, the ruling of him is that he is in the lowest degree or the lowest level in the hellfire, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. So each term has its own title, and this title will basically give him a ruling in the next life, in terms of being in paradise or in terms of being in the hellfire. This applies to both sides of iman and disbelief. And with this, the Sheikh ended this session. Inshallah, the third session dealing with the third foundational principle is going to be a very important principle. and this will be after Salat al-Asr.
الأصل الثالث إن شاء الله بعد العصر
بإذن الله تعالى. So right now we'll take a break, a small break, and then Sheikh Bassem will come to continue explaining the hadith that he started yesterday, hadith, the one who innovates in this matter of ours, that which is not part of it, then it will be rejected. So جزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.